while I crave for enjoyment, traveling and all that, I like to live a life of balance, because I've seen a situation where people are trying to save, not enjoying life now, and then dying and leaving that money or whatever it is they have been trying to achieve for someone else to enjoy. If you work 9 to 5 and you feel like your salary disappears every month and you don't know where it went, this is how I split my salary so that I'm never broke. For context, right, I used to be that girl whose salary was never enough. It never lasted more than 1 week. If it was a stretch, 2 weeks. So trust me, I've been there. So I was always living this paycheck to paycheck, even having holes in between, having to, look for money here and there. But now I've come to a place where I can say I'm more stable, and it is because I started applying this method. And this method is just by dividing your salary into 5 buckets. So the first thing I do differently is that before my salary comes, I already have a budget for it. Because I found that if I wait for the salary to come before I start budgeting, I tend to put things that are not necessary in my budget. So I like to prepare my budget before it comes. Now, in this budget, I will definitely have the first thing, which are my needs. Very important. Obviously there are some recurring bills that you can't do without. That you have to pay them. It's just like rent in Nigeria. Even though we pay yearly, most people tend to save it monthly. So having those things like food taken care of, transport, those things that that you can't do without, those things are what is considered your needs. So you must have them in your budget. And like I said, create this budget before your salary comes, so that you don't go and start spending money for your food on unnecessary things. The next section I have, which is very important, if not even more important than my needs, is my savings. Trust me, this girl knows the importance of saving, especially being in Nigeria where emergencies happen without you asking for them. So you need to have your savings. Even when I'm talking about savings, you need to have a separate one for your emergencies and for your long-term goals or short-term goals, but just have this separate so that you're not having to go into each of them when different situations calls for different buckets for you to chook your hand into. Your savings should be rightfully 10 to 20% of your salary is, or whatever your total income is, but you should be able to adjust this based on what your current reality is, because that I can save 10k does not mean that you too can save 10k. But all that matters is that you're creating a habit around your lifestyle, knowing that savings is the priority that can help you have peace of mind, especially being in Nigeria. But the main thing here is that you need to have a bucket for savings in your budget, even if it's small. Let me put that out there. No matter the amount, all that matters is that you have it. The third thing which I found most interesting and I have been doing for so long is investing. Investing is one thing that I feel like I've not done enough, but then the people around me keeps making me or hyping me up to know that girl, you have invested a lot. Trust me, not many people can do what you do. So I feel prideful when people tell me that, because okay, I've done quite some investing in my life, into land banking, into stocks, is it mutual funds, is it, you name it, your girl is there. Investing in a business, yes, I'm there. But the main idea here is that I know that I must invest. Like, one thing I do differently, I've talked about this in that video where I talked about my journey to 50 million naira, is the fact that I try to alternate between saving for my emergency fund, which is putting it in piggy vest, and then investing in stocks. You find that I have that balance there, while also putting money out for my mutual funds, while also putting money out for dollar investments. But all this is to say that I have my investment on lockdown and I don't miss out on it. Every single month I make sure that I invest, because while I crave for enjoyment, traveling and all that, I like to live a life of balance, because I've seen a situation where people are trying to save, not enjoying life now, and then dying and leaving that money or whatever it is they have been trying to achieve for someone else to enjoy, if you get what I mean. So I like to live this life of balance. But the main thing is that when I know that I'm supposed to invest, I make sure that I invest. Nothing is going to stop me. And the first section, which I love so much, is enjoyment section. So this can be classified as AKA your wants, but trust me, your girl has named it enjoyment, because if you are looking for the head minister of enjoyment, she's right here, because I love to travel. If there's any hobby I have, it is traveling. I've shared some of my travel videos, vlogs with you guys on this page. Go and check them out. Japan and South Korea saw me last year, and it was so exciting. And this year I'm traveling to the UK, so I'm so excited for that. It's been long I went to the UK. But the main thing is that I have a portion of my budget as enjoyment, and then the last bucket I have is being flexible for those times that I crave ice cream, I crave pizza, I crave those things that are not always consistent in every month. I can stay 2 months and not eat pizza, right? But then in that month I can say, okay, I'm craving ice cream, but in another month I can say I'm not craving any of these things. So there's that flexibility when it comes to those wants. But the main thing here is to just have that bucket, so that when that situation arises, you are not having to choke your hand inside another bucket that is meant for something else that is more important, or that is meant to be like a stable fund for that particular thing. In spite of all these things I've said, it is important for me to mention the fact that those situations where you are living in a house, obviously you have to pay akole and agbale, or there are some things that are just very random, but then you have to pay for it, like water can be in your needs, but then those random things that you have to pay for here and there, those still have a category. So you just need to have a particular category for which I classify as personal when it comes to this my budgeting. So I have my needs, I have my wants, which I've divided into enjoyment and flexibility, obviously, and then savings, investment. But then I have these buckets where I know that I have to take care of these things that usually comes up. So I usually put them in my personal. So because the money is not so much, because obviously you are not going to be paying more than 7,000 naira for akola and agbale, so you can easily just take it out from that place. That is basically how I divide my salary. It's nothing so complicated. Some people use spreadsheet, of which I've tried using spreadsheet. I even have a free link in the description for the spreadsheet I created. So sometimes when I want to see everything I'm spending my money on, I put it on this spreadsheet. It helps me to visualize, especially when I get extra income coming in, so I know that, okay, I need to adjust this place, I need to adjust this place. But when I want a simple template, I just go on my Samsung Notes and write down everything. And I've been using the Samsung Notes for my budgeting since 2021 up until this point. I have exactly everything I've spent my money on. But then when I want a bigger picture, I put it on this finance tracker, and it is free. It is in the description. Don't forget to check it out. That's my free gift to you. At the end of the day, the goal is completely simple. All I need to do is to control my money, not react to it. So I just need to know where I need to put the money that can help me know that, okay, my money is working for me while still being able to fund my lifestyle. If you are still figuring things out, you might want to check out the video I did on how I was able to save my first 1 million naira, or you might even want to check out that video of how to survive with your 100k salary. Wherever you find yourself, whether you are in the phase of managing 100k salary, there's a video for you. Whether you're in phase of trying to save your first million naira, I have a video for you. Make sure to check them out. So that is it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, join this family, because we're all about the good stuff of living life of balance while building wealth and doing everything we love alongside it. I'll see you guys in my next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.